A blonde woman asked to dye her hair brunette so people would stop calling her stupid. Old joke, but upvote for very clear formatting. I went on a date with a blonde woman last night. Do you have any kids? She asked. Yes, I replied. I have one child that's just under 2. She said, I might be blonde, but I know how many one is. Doggone. Did you hear about the blonde that froze to death at a drive-in movie theater? She went to see closed for the season. I hate myself for laughing at this. And she says no deal because after she dyed her hair brunette she had actually become smart. Nice username. So old, but I still laughed. Thanks. I read blonde blind woman. So for a minute there the punchline didn't make sense to me. Bananas are berries in botanical terms. Bananas qualify as berries, while strawberries do not. This is a fun fact, not a shower thought. Shower thoughts are original thoughts in Reddit terms. Original thoughts qualify as shower thoughts, while stuff from Wikipedia do not. I can imagine exploring the built-in encyclopedia inside their mind while in the shower and realizing this fact. Eggplants are berries too. I'm tired of you kids and your semantics. Stop trying to be so progressive with my fruits. Bananas are penis fruits and strawberries are nipple fruits. Let's just leave it at that. JFC. At one point chrysanthemums weren't members of the chrysanthemum family. I don't think Stonehenge is really a henge either. What was the powerhouse of the cell again? I thought bananas were a kind of grass. Thought they were herbs. What about chuckberries? Considering the ratio of strokes to inches, by end of life, the majority of men's right hands have likely traveled to the moon and back. But I would wank 500 miles. And I would wank 500 more. Just to be the man that wanks 1,000 miles. Then there's your mom, passing Pluto's orbit as I type this. If you've been using your right your entire life, switch to your left. Game changer. That's disgusting. You're gonna jerk your junk and then go eat, drink and shake other people's hands with that civilized man use our left hands. Europeans of Reddit, what do Americans have every day that you see as a luxury? Free refills. The size of your homes in places like Utah has a dedicated room for everything. Kids' playroom that isn't the living room or the kids' bedroom, walk-in pantry room, a laundry room. Extensive national parks. Used to be 24-hour stores and restaurants. That went away with COVID. Air conditioning. Americans pump it all summer long. Spacious hallways, quarters and homes in general, dedicated laundry rooms, not a washing machine in the kitchen. Smiley face. Apartment complex pools and the regular washing of the windows of high-rise buildings. It's infrequent in Europe. Huge schools with labs and gyms and theaters. The space, free use of bathrooms, is fucking enormous. Space, room, land, free public toilets. Ice makers in the freezer? Former porn addicts, how did you get out of it? I simply watched all of it, every single video. I turned 60. Really, it was a hard addiction to get out of. It took Amy taking a long hard look in the mirror realizing I just had to beat it. I had been addicted since like 13 until about 23-27 now. I quit cold turkey because I was worried about getting it after going limp a couple times during sex for seemingly no reason. At first, I relapsed a lot, then less and less, and then I stopped thinking about porn and masturbation too. There was nothing special to it, just got busy with life and really wanted to quit it. Got depressed and lost interest in it. Eventually just preferred my imagination or a picture of my crush. How do redheads masturbate? With sunscreen, alone, so very alone, with feet. That's just a pale comparison. If the head is red, they're doing pretty well. Same as the guys with purple heads, with no soul. I keep trying to forget about 80s music. I can't go for that. No can do. And that's why when it comes to 80s music, I can never say goodbye. I've tried to quit you, 80s music, but I'm never going to give you up. Such an old joke. In fact, I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another. Personally, I just can't get enough. Don't you forget about it. Ah ha 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 ha. I know this much is true. If you can't quit it, then you might as well jump on the bandwagon and keep running with the devil. I feel tired of 80s but can't help cause my girl wants to party all the time. All you do is talk about it. Talk about it, talk about it. 80s music never gave up on me or let me down, unlike 90s music that ultimately said whatever never mind to me. But in the end, in the OOs, it didn't really matter. I try to forget 80s music time after time, but it just takes my breath away. That's the power of love. I threw a gender reveal party. Judge, how could you kill 24 people? What the hell was wrong with I was driving at 50 miles per hour when I saw 2 men crossing the road. On the roadside, there was a restaurant with outside seating. I wanted to apply the brakes, but I realized they were not working. So I had to take a decision, either hit the 2 men or run into hit the 2 men of course. Driver exactly after hitting the first man, the other man ran inside the restaurant so I followed him. I thought the joke was going to go a different way. You know how in gaming and sports there's the term to throw a game. Basically when someone screws up badly, intentionally or not, causing the game state to worsen to the point of a loss, they threw the game. So the joke here is the person threw the gender reveal. The funny part is imagining how badly someone needs to screw up in order to throw a gender reveal party. But I heard you got off. Insufficient evidence. If you were paid $300 per hour to play a game, but you could only play one game, which one would you choose? I would play any game you want me to for $300 an hour. Minecraft. Endless amounts of building to be done. Factorio, you can play that shit for a lifetime with all the mods available. Cookie clicker, and just leave it running in the background. The quiet game. Chess. I already play tournaments for free, so doing it for up to $2,400 a day sounds great. Any sim racing game. RuneScape. Got 6,000 hours in RimWorld so far with no signs of slowing down, so that. Football Manager. By the time I am through a career I'll just buy SD Mirren and play FM. Wow. Age of Empires or Witcher Wild Hunt, whichever you buy me. Minecraft. Stardew Valley. Civ 5. Path of Exile. DD. Sims. Factorio. The Factory Must Grow. Fallout 4 or Skyrim. I've asked so many people what LGBTQ stands for. Lettuce, guacamole, bacon and tomato quesadilla. If you see A+, that means it comes with sour cream. Let's gangbang together quickly, invite all your mates. Winking face. That is easy. It's a sandwich. Lettuce, garlic spread, bacon, tomato, and queso. Let's get banged together quietly. Of all the one I see the most. I saw some meme about pronouncing it LGBT and now I can't stop. Let's get burritos, tacos and quesadillas, whatever toppings and sides you want. Everybody always talks about young trans people, but they completely ignore, forget about their mom and dads like they are invisible. I guess it's because they are transparent. Let's get burritos, tacos and quesadillas. Lame gay bar de Quiznos, LG and Bluetooth and Q. Let's get beers, tacos, quesadillas. My ex-GF was bisexual. My GF was a beach. My wife is a sex object. When I want sex, she objects. My girlfriend was lesbian. I dated a girl who was trisexual. Broke up with her because she didn't want to try it. I see, so you're one of those pansexual guys. To each his own. I believe it. By trisexual. Buy me something nice and I'll try anything sexual. My first wife was very bisexual, it's true. She was truly turned on when men gave her money for sex. Too bad she extended the idea to me. My ex-GF, my coffee, dark and bitter. My ex is still like that. My ex-GF liked bird sex. She loved to swallow. At least she's not a slot machine. One of the greatest modern tragedies is the trend of stupid people assuming anything they can understand must be fake, wrong, or a conspiracy. Which is the most annoying version of this. I had a philosophy professor in college say that God is just the sum of all the unknown. It stuck with me way more than I wanted it to. I think it's also tied to a lack of critical thinking among the population. So much media now looks to give you the answers instead of just presenting the facts. People end up absorbing the bias they are exposed to versus spending the energy to think critically about the opinions they are exposed to. This must make it very difficult for stupid people to be conspiracy theorists, lol. Since all the Google answers to their existential questions are 100 true, be assured that it is not a modern tragedy. Stupid people have been around while ever humans have existed. Sprinters are significantly worse in turning right than left. Thus why in hockey practice we would skate both directions around the rink. I'm left-handed and there was a big advantage in turns against right-handed shooters when skating clockwise. Also in a game one would know to go left or right around some defensemen, as some were much better skating backwards in one direction than the other. Got too high one time and decided to play Mario Kart 64 on mirror mode. 20 years of muscle memory broke me and I couldn't figure that shit out to save my life. This is a shower thought. I can picture myself sprinting and making a left turn with ease. But a right turn makes me feel weird inside. Why? Now this is a shower thought. Bro got me running laps from high school in my head. During track workouts, at least for distance runners, we will change direction for some reps. I thought for a second this was about the Mercedes van. Yay, I have trouble even imagining that without limping. Statistically, the person with the most potential in a sport has never even tried to unlock it. It's even worse for motorsport. You could be an incredibly talented driver, but without money you can't race. You could be aware of your talent but have no opportunity to show it because you are poor. In a series of hypothetical scenarios in which every person could dedicate their whole life to every single pursuit, then, yes, it's unlikely that the person we currently recognize as the greatest in their respective field would retain that status. I mean, maybe on the LeBron could have been the best tight end or volleyball player level, but not on the Jim from accounting could have been better than Babe Ruth level. That's why niche sports are hilarious. Some weekender can just come and blow them out of the water. I watched a video of a skinny mountain climber entering a strongman competition the other day and he set a world record in his weight class in one of the events. I think he came in the top 20 out of 50 absolute giant monsters. Till General Electric dumped toxic forever chemicals into the Hudson River and its CEO, Jack Welch, disputed the EPA's findings that these chemicals are toxic. Behind the Bastards did a multi-part episode on Jack Welch. Spoiler alert, he was a real bastard. 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish. It's almost as if Jack Welch wasn't as nice of a person as his personality cult wants us to believe. It can't be toxic. I'm making a grotesque amount of money. Anytime someone claims that it isn't toxic and the water is safe to drink, they should give them water with this forever chemical in it and ask them to drink LLC them change their tunes real quick. Till the USA doesn't use A4 or other A-series paper sizes, but instead their own standard, letter, legal and tabloid, PC load letter. There have been times in my life when this has been super annoying. Mostly printing Ryanair tickets when I was young and poor. As someone who grew up in the US, I learned what A4 paper was when I was working at an office supply store and someone from the UK asked where it was. He was pretty upset most of us didn't know what it was, and that our boss explained that it wasn't sold in our store. This was over 20 years ago, and I doubt he found anyone in my area that sold it. I'm American and I didn't even realize there was a size of paper called tabloid. Washington's dream too. And what of the slaves, sir? I dream of a future where the rest of the world will cave to standardized paper. We will completely ignore them. Ignore them, sir? Ignore them. Till Travis the chimpanzee was given Xanax the day he attacked Carla Nash. I made the mistake of listening to the 911 call where she was begging the police to bring a gun and shoot her chimp. All the while you can hear Travis and Carla both screaming. Horrific, don't recommend. People don't need to own chimps. I hate how they treat them like children. They are wild and unpredictable animals. I wish they all could live free in their own habitats. Stanford CT in 2009, eh? It's worth mentioning the Bakersfield chimp incident in 2005 which ripped a guy's face off. I guess people just don't. 2005 incident made so much news that LA radio comedian Phil Hendry began using the phrase going Bakersfield chimp in his shows instead of going postal. His owner Sandra Harold admitted to giving him the anti-anxiety medication without a prescription. Till although submarines were only about 2 of the US Navy in World War II, the group destroyed over 30 of the Japanese Navy including 8 aircraft carriers, 11 cruisers. It also crippled over 60 of the Japanese merchant fleet, greatly impairing Japan's ability to supply its military war effort. It's even more impressive when you realize that their torpedoes didn't work properly for the first 2 years of the war. Link, imagine what it would have been like if they'd been able to go ham from the beginning. It's amazing the things you can do when you have functional torpedoes. Interestingly, Japan were never able to adapt to submarine warfare, while by this point in the war the British had already developed very advanced technology and tactics against their S. Understandable they'd have lacked Britain's technology. But even some relatively basic anti-submarine coordination and training would have helped Japan immensely in the war. Those who watch hentai are judged harsher than those who watch regular porn, despite consuming the more ethical content of the two. It's probably because hentai is associated more so with fetish porn. Think about the tentacle memes. True. Once, I heard the story of this girl who as a child got raped and had her video put up on Pornhub, then they refused to remove it until she pretended she's a lawyer coming to sue them. Google Rose Kalemba. It got me into a rabbit hole that made me realize how much porn is played with revenge porn, abuse and non-consent, especially involving children. It really turned me off of it for good. What are the ethics of pornography? Damn, I guess I'm better than I thought. I mean, I totally don't watch hentai. Really? I've always thought that people who consume either are judged pretty heavily. What is the female equivalent to a male finishing too quickly? Never starting. The girl who says will you be much longer? Never finishing. Expecting the guy to always initiate. Sitting there like a lifeless fish. The starfish. Something that she can't really help, but which would spoil a male partner's enjoyment. I have an acquaintance who complained that he had sex with a woman who got so wet down there that there was no friction and he was unable to. I think that a little imagination about the way they made love might have overcome this, but whatever. Storming in and shutting off the PS5 while I'm playing, telling me we're going to bang, sending me upstairs and she will be close behind, only for her to fall asleep on the couch. Being selfish, finishing too quickly. You think she wants to sit there with some post-bust clarity while you just cattle prod her oyster ditch? My mouth is tired. Not turning up and leaving you on read when the guy is the only one working. Finishing too quickly. What is the most out-of-touch thing an older person has told you? My dad visited me in the restaurant I was working in at the moment during peak hours and said, just tell your boss you're taking your break now and sit with me. Yeah. That's not how it works. My grandmother didn't like female cats and dogs because they don't have good morals and want sex all the time. Unamused face. From a parent. When we die, You can just fly over here and move in for 6 months while you figure out what to do with all of our stuff. Sure, and what income will I have after I need to quit my job to do this? My dad. At Christmas if I need, I can sell my pain meds on the black market and make a fortune. Me, where is this black market? Dad, eBay. Fuck's sake. That he raised me and my siblings so he doesn't see why it's so difficult for was an every other weekend dad for me, and my siblings have lived in a different state from him since elementary school. Unamused face. What pronouns does a non-binary barn owl use? That joke is a hoot, I'll see myself out. Something nocturnal. The pieces are there. Someone do something with that. A ghost owl would use boo-hoo. Owls always think they're so clever, but they go all quiet if you shout back at them that it's whom. A depressed owl says, who cares? This flew over my head. Would this owl like shooters? How does a non-binary samurai kill? It's whom. Good one. You never hear of North Korea having a natural disaster. Supreme leader prevents disasters. He is wise and can control the earth's weather and the ground to prevent earthquakes. He is so powerful he does not even need to poop. All praise to Supreme Leader. North Korea is a very private country with very little outside communication, so unless it's large enough to be detected or felt by outside countries, it's unlikely North Korea would inform any other countries. What if North Korea is a utopia and everybody else is lying? Thoughtful face. North Korea is a natural disaster. Western media doesn't report it much because there would be no need to. But I live in South Korea and it comes up more sometimes. Their flooding is so bad the bodies will wash into the south, and they are identified as being from the north because they don't have marks on their arms from childhood vaccines. The only things I know about North Korea is what they showed in the movie, The Dictator. What is the scariest thing you have ever seen with your eyes? A trail of blood. When I went to pee at 11 p.m. my brother slit his wrists in a fever dream. I was about AGO. Pass fine now. There once an accident occurred right in front of me. There were motorcycle trying to cut off a truck, but they did not see there was another truck on incoming lane. It happened so fast and bam, the rider got smashed like we smashed a tomato. I was standing on the side of the road buying a coffee. I puked so hard after that.